7 days a week. We bring the good news of Christ to listeners throughout the Diocese of Fort Wayne South Bend and beyond. With your donation, Redeemer Radio can continue planting the seeds of faith in the hearts of every listener.
This is Leonard DiLorenzo from the McGrath Institute for Church Life at the University of Notre Dame and host of Church Life Today on Redeemer Radio. On Church Life Today, we have conversations with pastoral leaders and scholars from around the country about issues that matter most to the church today. Thank you for listening and supporting Catholic programming like Church Life Today, heard right here on Redeemer Radio.
I would recommend listening to Spoke Street podcasts to anyone, even if they're not of the younger generation. I personally have listened to many of their podcasts and found them to be very informational, entertaining, and bring across the Catholic message very strongly. I hope you can tune in to some Spoke Street podcasts.
We need your support to continue sharing the good news. Give securely online by going to RedeemerRadio.com and click Give Now, or call 260-436-9598.
Become a day sponsor and honor a birthday, anniversary, feast day, or other special occasion with an on-air message. With a $400 donation, your personalized message will air 6 times on the day of your choosing. For a $700 donation, it will air 12 times. And for $1,000, it will air 18 times. Plus, your donation supports the mission of Redeemer Radio. Become a day sponsor now.
Help us continue nurturing our listeners toward greater Catholic discipleship. Call or text GIVE to the Holy Cross College text line at 260-436-9598 or donate online at RedeemerRadio.com. This is Redeemer Radio's Sharathon. Thank you for listening to and supporting your local Catholic radio station.
Good afternoon, and welcome to this hour of Redeemer Radio's Spring Sharathon. I am your host, Sarah King from St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Parish, and I am here this afternoon with members of the St. Anthony in Angola Campus Ministry. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Yep. Hi, my name's Maria Steffel. I'm the president of the Newman Group on campus up at Trine.
I'm Krista Beeler. I'm one of the previous presidents and the outreach coordinator of Newman Catholic Fellowship.
I'm Peter Klee, and just a regular member, I guess, of the group.
And I'm Father Bob from St. Anthony's Parish and the chaplain of the Newman Fellowship.
And my name is Professor Michael Smith. I am a newer professor at Trine University in the math department and a faculty member of the outreach group.
All right, thank you for being here. Father Bob, can you start us in prayer this hour?
Yes, on the Franciscan calendar, we are celebrating the feast of the stigmata of St. Francis of Assisi today, where St. Francis bore on his body the marks of the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Heavenly Father, you marked St. Francis with the very marks of the suffering of your Son Jesus, in order to kindle in our hearts a desire to share in Christ's death, that we might share in the glory of his resurrection. Light our hearts on fire, and help us to resemble your Son more and more each day. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Okay, thank you, Father Bob. For this hour, we have a goal of $3,000, and after 10 pledges, there will be a bonus of $500. So the best way to get those pledges in is to call or text, and that number is 260-436-9598. The other way that you can get your donation in is to go to redeemerradio.com, click on the Give Now button, and follow the instructions. You can also text the word GIVE to the Holy Cross College text line. Again, that number is 260-436-9598. Okay. So welcome, St. Anthony. I would like to start the hour off by having you share a little bit about your campus ministry. Do you want to go ahead and start, Maria?
Yeah, so basically Newman is, it's a student-led group. We do a lot of Bible study. We talk about current issues. We partner with St. Anthony's, which is just across the street from campus. I've been the president for the last semester, and I've been the vice president before, who's the one that leads meetings. So they're the ones that do research for what we're going to be talking about. And I don't know if you want to hop in, Krista, just a little bit.
Yeah, we have our weekly meetings where we just get together and have our discussions on who the saints are. We do Bible study. We just have dinner together. In the past, we've also done some fun activities like broom ball games and bake sales. It's just a
So your ministry on campus helps college students continue to connect with their college faith, even though they're away from their home parishes.
Yes.
Okay. And how, I'm going to college for the first time. How do I know that you're there and you're available?
We have an activities fair on campus where basically any organization on campus can sign up for a booth and advertise what events we do, where we meet, what times, stuff like that. And so we just sign up for a table, and any student that's not a part of a group, or is, I guess, they could go see what other stuff there is available. They just go through our university center, and we just advertise for our group. We have our officers there, other members that want to be there, stuff like that.
And how many students are you reaching at Trine University? How many are part of your ministry efforts?
Official member count.
There's about 40 all. You mean for the whole university or for the Newman Fellowship?
For your ministry with the Newman.
For Newman, we have meetings anywhere. If we have slow days, maybe it's like 5 or 6 kids, but we have anywhere up to like 20, 30, depending on the event.
There's 40 names on the email list.
Okay, fantastic.
So like the biggest,
fantastic.
the biggest number we could possibly inflate.
So those 40 people are listening right now, and
well, at least 3 of them are.
Can call or text in with their pledges for this hour. Again, our goal is to raise $3,000 to support Redeemer Radio. You can go to redeemerradio.com, click on that Give Now button, and you can also text the word GIVE to the Holy Cross College text line at 260-436-9598. So, Peter, you were saying that you are a member of this ministry. What has the ministry meant to you and your faith formation while you're in college?
Well, it's just been a great place to go to, with weekly meetings and other activities where you can be around other Catholics and kind of be at home, as you might say, and with a strong community, to grow your faith and to learn about your faith, and also to try to grow the Catholic presence on campus. This group has really been helping us to do that.
That's fantastic. And how long has this ministry been active?
Well, the Newman group itself, it actually has some national presence. There have been other organizations. It's more of, it's college-based most of the time, and it actually does have a couple of groups, I believe, in Europe, in England specifically. But as far as Trine goes, I'm actually not sure on the history. I don't know how long it's been present there.
Going back to the 1950s.
The 1950s.
Awesome. Now, whether there was, like always in an unbroken line in succession for the last 70 years, always a Newman group, or, if it, we started a group, it faded out, that I'm not sure of. Mm-hmm. But we can see that when it was when Trine University used to be Tri-State University, already in the mid-50s, there was a group that called itself, back then they called themselves the Newman, they didn't use the word fellowship, they used a different, but a Newman group.
Okay.
I think they called it the Newman Sodality.
Oh, fancy. All right. Again, as a reminder, we have a goal this hour of $3,000. And if we reach 10 pledges, doesn't matter the dollar amount, there will be a bonus of $500. And just to give you a little incentive, for a donation of $120, that will cover the cost for 1 hour of Redeemer Radio to be on the air. In addition, it will earn you a free t-shirt. So a donation of $120 will get you a nice comfy t-shirt that says "Made for Greatness" on it that you can wear around college campus. And we have our first donation. Krista, you want to read that?
We have the Knights of Columbus Council.
Yeah, 7053.
Thank you very much.
All right, Father Bob, do you have anything else that you would like to share about the campus ministry?
We use a model where the Newman ministry is connected indirectly with the parish, and where the parishioners view working with the students at the university right across the street as part of what we do as a parish. Historically, the parish grew out of the university back in the 1920s, when it was called Tri-State University. Our county, Steuben County in Indiana, 100 years ago was the least Catholic county in the state. Now, 100 years later, it's the least Catholic county in the state in terms of percentages. But 100 years ago was also rather virulently anti-Catholic. And there was no parish, but there were basically faculty members, some students, but that stable group were faculty members from the university who wanted a parish. So we actually started in the basement of some building. And I forget the building where we started on the building's not there anymore, but we actually started as a parish in the basement of one of the buildings of Trine University.
A true grassroots effort.
Yeah.
Yep, that's fantastic. And what does it mean to have a Catholic presence at Trine University? What does that mean for students looking to attend Trine? What does that mean for students that are already there?
Well, speaking from experience, I came from a pretty small school over in Ohio, actually, and getting kind of thrown into this mix of people that are from bigger cities, like the Fort Wayne area is massive. They went to super big high schools, bigger than even Trine. And being able to find kind of a home with other people that share faith with me was very settling and just very hopeful.
I guess to add on to that, I came from a high school that didn't have a religious presence. It was a community high school, a charter high school, and I was constantly challenged in my faith, but I didn't have a youth group to go to at the time. Now in college, I have the Newman Catholic Fellowship, and it's a family to me. I can be myself, I can ask them all these questions, and we're just a happy Catholic little family, so I love it.
That's fantastic. What are some activities that you do? So I also graduated from a public high school. I went to a Methodist university and found my Catholic Mass at 9 o'clock with free pizza to get us there. But what types of activities do you do to foster that Catholic growth on campus?
Well, we have our weekly meetings, as mentioned before. We like to host game nights. We've done movie nights, and we do fun activities just to get a presence on campus. We played a game called Broom Ball. Trine University has an ice arena.
Okay.
And it's just a fun game without ice skates. You
probably be the safest way for me to ice skate.
It's a lot of fun.
And the students from the Newman Fellowship are also an integrated part and an important part of the liturgical ministers at the parish.
Okay.
Difference. They're lectors. They're extraordinary ministers of Holy Communion. We're trying to get a couple to be some ushers because we need more ushers. Anybody from St. Anthony's Parish listening, let me repeat that. We need more ushers. Anyway, so that and again, it's a wonderful thing to see. It's actually difficult for us in the summer when the students are all gone and suddenly so many of our lectors are gone.
Okay.
So it's a wonderful thing.
That's a good thing, though, right? That the students are involved throughout the school year. What else? Tell me what else brings joy. Do you see a difference, Professor, in the presence of the ministry on campus?
Yeah, I went to a similar group. I went to a much larger school when I was in college, and I went to a similar group when I was there. And the one thing that didn't change between a big school and a small school was this close-knitness of these students who I've only recently come to Trine and only started to get to know them really well, but they're always joking with each other and sharing with each other, and it reminds me, yes, we are here at college to learn, but also we are here in this world to be a family with one another. And I mean, these students exemplify that atmosphere. They're having fun with each other, they're enjoying time together, and they're doing that right after they prayed a rosary and then had a dinner and then talked about their classes, and then they go back to the prayer. It's all integrated into their lives, and just seeing that as an anchor point for them in their faith while they're going through the challenges of college is beautiful.
That is absolutely beautiful. I want to come back to that in just a minute, but we just had a new donation. Do you want to go ahead and read that one?
Yeah, so thanks to the donation by Christopher Albaugh.
Alumba, maybe?
Sorry, but thank you so much for your donation and for helping us out.
Absolutely. And we're currently at 220. I don't know if that includes the paper that's in my hand. Probably not. So 8 more pledges, and we can get that match of $500. And again, our goal for this hour is $3,000. And you can get your pledges in by texting the word GIVE to Holy Cross College text line at 260-436-9598. Or you can head to RedeemerRadio.com and click on the Give Now button. We also have volunteers standing by to answer the phone if you wish to donate that way. Again, that number is 260-436-9598. And it looks like we had another donation come in. Maria, want to read that one?
Big thank you to Neil and Judy Nussbaum.
Okay, yes, thank you. And going back as a mom of school-aged children, young school-aged children, who are attending Catholic school, that is one of our goals as parents, is to really infuse our faith into those daily actions. So for you to sit here and say that it's also happening at the college level, and thinking back to my own college experience where it really wasn't, just is affirming that that lifestyle can continue when my children are no longer right there underneath me.
In fact, I'm going to ask Professor Smith now to tell the story again of how he met his wife and became Catholic all at the same time.
Yes, I was going to, just to add to what Sarah was saying, college is when faith gets to become your own. And I mean, not everyone goes to college, but many people do, and that's when the first time you're away from your parents and their example, and then making sure you get up on Sunday morning to go to Mass, and you have to make it your own, and your friends can kind of help you with that. And so actually, I was telling Father Bob on the way here the story, my wife and I met actually at a Methodist foundation at our university, because neither one of us grew up Catholic. And we became friends and started dating through that, which was wonderful. But then another one of our friends got us to go to the Newman group at our university and attend one of their retreats. And By the time she had gone on her retreat the semester after me, we were both full of questions and just amazed by the beauty of the rosary and of the Eucharist and the community that was around that with the other students. And we ended up doing RCIA over the summer and joined the church together on the same day, and then eventually got married at that same church.
Wow.
Which was
Praise
just so
God.
wonderful. And none of that would have happened without our Newman group, which is why I was so excited to learn that Trine had one, and to see how beautiful it is, even at a very different and smaller school. These students are still building each other up in the same way that my friends helped the two of us come together and be built up in the church.
Absolutely. And that's the same thing that we're trying to do here, is to build our community through the positive messages that are available on Redeemer Radio. Again, our number is 260-436-9598. We are currently sitting with 6 more pledges to go to get that $500 match. Again, doesn't matter the level of pledge, but 6 pledges will get us an additional $500. So text the word GIVE to the Holy Cross College text line at 260-436-9598. Okay, and Peter, talk a little bit about getting to Mass during college. How is that different than when you're at home?
Well, actually, believe it or not, I'm a commuter.
Okay.
I'm right in town, so that has not necessarily changed a whole lot, but one thing that has changed is Father Bob talked about the church and the Newman group being really close together and related. And one thing personally for me that I've started doing is the St. Anthony's is open for adoration most days during the morning and afternoon, and that allows students to come over right across the street and have open adoration in the church. So that's been a great way to kind of deepen my faith and my daily prayer, is to go over there and even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes, but that's been a really great kind of addition to my prayer life in college.
That's fantastic. And Father Bob, what has it done for St. Anthony's to have the students' presence and kind of that example of college students being an active part of your parish?
Please don't misunderstand what I'm about to say. But, I grew up in a very small town, about the size of Angola, and once you graduated from high school, if you were going to get any kind of higher education, you had to leave town, because there was literally nothing offered, beyond high school. And once you left, there was no reason to come back. Or if you decided you didn't want any more education, you just wanted a job, but odds are you were going to get a job in another town. And so in this little town of 8,000, there was almost nobody between the ages of 20 and 29. To this day, I go back to that town, there is nobody who lives in that town who's between the ages of 20 and 29, because there's nothing for that age group in the town.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, I've really come to love Angola, and it reminds me a lot of the town I grew up in, so I say this with all respect and affection, but there ain't much. If you're between 20 and 29, and you can choose to go to Trine, and a lot of our students do, but if you don't do that, what is there in town?
Sure.
So if I look at our parish, the sheer raw number of parishioners in their 20s is amazingly low. It's not unusual for a small town. If it were not for Trine University, we would not have very many young adults. We'd have about a dozen, but suddenly with Trine there's dozens and dozens, and potentially hundreds if we can just convince them. But I mean, that it changes the nature of the parish, and in many ways makes the parish feel more like a big city parish.
Sure.
At least it's like we have all the benefits of a big city parish, but also the benefits of a small town parish. So it's rather wonderful.
Okay, that's fantastic. Okay, it looks like we are currently at $1,130, And we had a couple more donations come in. Professor Michael, you want to go ahead? I don't know if you can
Sure,
see that
yeah.
or not.
Thanks to Jack and Sheila Bradley and to Joseph Voigt. We only need 3 more pledges to get our $500 match. So, and
one more.
Thank you to Rob Latondra.
All right. Thank you so much. So if my math is correct, that means we just need 2 more to get to that $500 match.
Professor Smith is a professor of mathematics,
Okay,
so he
so
will let you know.
check me
Well,
on
that is
that.
correct. That is
That's good to
very
know.
well done. Yes.
All right. So 2 more pledges, and then I don't have to do math for the rest of the day. And remember, a pledge of $120 gets you a beautiful green Made for Greatness T-shirt. And a $300 pledge puts you in the drawing for 2 tickets to the Notre Dame USC game on October 23rd. And then $400 and above can earn you 6 on-air messages on the day of your choice. $700 earns you 12 on-air messages. So I don't know if there's a way to pool money together and get a message out about your ministry, or a shout out to different people on campus. But that is what you can earn with a $400 or $700 donation.
And if anybody makes a donation hoping to win a ticket to the Notre Dame game on October 23rd and you don't win it, please know that the Knights of Columbus in Angola are holding a tailgating party at Trine University for the Trine football game. So that we're going to have a bunch of, I was going to say
Fantastic.
drunken Catholics, you can't say that anymore. We're going to have a bunch of typical Catholics in the parking lot of Trine on October 23rd.
Sounds great. Sounds like, it could be a great day either way. And we've got another donation come in. Krista?
Thank you to Marion Steffel.
Thanks, Mom.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice. And apparently my math was wrong because we still do need 2 more matches, or 2 more donations, 2 more pledges to get to that $500 match. So we will continue to have you call or text in to the 260-436-9598.
Matthew's gospel tells the story of crowds gathered to listen to Jesus for so long that they became hungry. Rather than send them away for food, Jesus challenged them to share what they had, 5 loaves and 2 fish, with the crowd. But how would there be enough food? Jesus asked them to trust God would provide, and there would be enough for everyone, plus some left over. Redeemer Radio has been blessed with support over the years to help people like you grow in faith. And God has called us to look outside our circle and feed the nearby crowd. Who do we see in the crowd? A younger generation, family members, our own children, grandchildren, and godchildren, leaving the church in alarming numbers. They rarely listen to FM radio and prefer podcasts and audio on demand. Redeemer Radio has expanded its mission and created the Spoke Street Media Network to reach them. Like the multiplication of the bread and fish, we trust God will provide the necessary resources, with some left over. Thank you for your support, which gives us the opportunity to provide authentically Catholic content to those who don't realize they're hungry or who alone can fill them.
It's so easy to turn the station and to listen to rants and ugliness and the Twitter mob on social media, or the acidity of talk radio, and it's not good for you. You have to know what's going on in the world, but you do not have to immerse yourself in vitriol and anger. And so for me, it's a great alternative. Sometimes I listen to music, sometimes I drive in silence. Most of the time I listen to Redeemer Radio.
Help us amplify the voice of God. Pledge now by calling or texting GIVE to 260-436-9598.
This is Dr. David Anders, host of Called to Communion, heard here on Redeemer Radio weekdays from 2 to 3 p.m. On Called to Communion, we take calls from non-Catholics and answer questions about what's keeping them from becoming Catholic. Thank you for listening to and supporting Catholic programming like Called to Communion, heard right here on Redeemer Radio.
It costs about $120 to provide Redeemer Radio listeners with 1 hour of Catholic programming. All donors who give this amount or more automatically qualify for a specially designed t-shirt. Call today and support Redeemer Radio's efforts to amplify the voice of the Creator with content that invites.
It's easy to become a Redeemer Radio supporter. Volunteers are standing by and lines are open for you. Call or text GIVE to 260-436-9598.
Help us continue reaching souls for Christ. Call or text GIVE to the Holy Cross College text line at 260-436-9598 or donate online at redeemerradio.com. This is Redeemer Radio Sharathon. Thank you for tuning in to your listener-supported local Catholic radio station.
Welcome back to this hour of Redeemer Radio Spring Sharathon. I'm your host, Sarah King, and I am here with members of the St. Anthony Angola Campus Ministry. So prior to the break, we were talking about your Catholic faith in college and this Newman ministry that you have. Tell me a little bit about this house. There's a house on campus, near campus?
So our faculty advisor, big shout out to Dr. Kevin Molliet and his wife Kara. They recently purchased a cute little 1950s house, and we've been refurbishing it all summer. We've got 3 students living there right now. I'm one of them, and I lived there over the summer, and then we had 2 more students move in the fall. And so that's just going to be fantastic for us to have a home, because we hold meetings in the garage now. It's beautiful. And then we hope to be partnering with Trine and have it as an official student option for housing.
That's fantastic.
And we just want to make clear, it's not like you have to be Catholic to walk in the building. You know, it's like even regular people are allowed in.
Okay. All right. Well, speaking of that, we are currently sitting at $1,250. We have a goal of $3,000 this hour, and we are looking for 2 more pledges to get us a $500 bonus.
And we just double-checked the math on all of that.
That's right.
But I think that if 2 more people did the donations large enough for the T-shirt, we would be within the $500, and then also almost halfway to our goal. So that would be awesome.
Absolutely. So, as you are on Trine's campus, you're picking your classes, you're deciding on a major. How has your Catholic faith assisted in that process, or become part of your life in classes and homework and just your day-to-day life?
Well, I know I'm studying biomedical engineering, and so I love just applying the ethics and moral decisions of Catholicism into my studies and my faith. I think of abortion a lot, like, I don't know, tissue engineering. We're learning about the cells, and how could I help the patients in my future studies of these cells moving through the body and what medicines we develop. And I think of where our resources come from and how we can do better as Catholics in the field.
Fantastic. And I imagine that you might come up with some resistance in that field of study and your Catholic faith. Is that true?
Yes, very much. But I believe all the professors respect us all for our beliefs, and I found some professors who also agree, like they're also Catholic, and so it's been nice having that support too.
Fantastic. And it looks like we've got a couple of more pledges. You want to go ahead and read that, Maria?
Thank you to Julia Baker, who made a gift of and loves St. Anthony's. Her parents were married there, and grandparents have been parishioners for over 40 years. They love to visit in the summer.
And I'm going to give a shout out to Julia because that's one of my people. So thank you, Julia. And we are one pledge away to get that match, currently sitting at $1,370. So one more pledge. And then, Maria, did you have anything else to add about kind of that, if you ever experience conflict or resistance with your Catholic faith and what you're studying?
So not so much with what I'm studying in particular. Since I'm a computer engineer, I work with rocks that we taught how to think. But I am in a class right now that's called Contemporary Issues, and that deals with a lot of the more recent issues that I'm sure we've all heard about in the media. I won't go into too much detail, but not only as a female but as a Catholic in classes, I've been getting a little bit more direct questions on that, and so that's really challenging to my faith, and I think that's helping me to really build up awareness for some of these issues that are being pushed in the wrong direction, and I can maybe help at least kids my age kind of think about it differently, because maybe they haven't had the exposure that I've had at all, and this might make them start to question that.
Absolutely. And has Catholic media played a role in helping you to figure out answers or how to have rebuttals to those questions?
I've taken a couple of these questions that I've gotten in classes or from professors specifically and brought them back to our meetings, and that becomes a discussion point for my whole group. And then on a couple of occasions I have brought it back up to that professor or even another friend, so that I can better educate them without me simply pushing my opinion, and rather I can pull it from my faith and my peers that probably know better than I do in some cases.
Sure.
And I can push them in the right direction without putting too much of my own emotion and stuff into it.
And to add to that, the way my wife and I joined the church was through a friend doing exactly what Maria did, which is challenging our previous beliefs and inviting us into a conversation. And then through that, both through our friends and through various sources of Catholic media, like some things like Redeemer Radio, we were able to find and answer some of those questions in order to eventually draw deeper into our faith.
Okay. And we have some exciting news. We have hit the $500 match.
Yeah, thanks to Neil Bueller for helping us make the pledge. We hit the $500 match, and we just had another very generous donor who will make another match of $500 if we can get 5 more pledges. So that would be wonderful if we can get 5 more and get closer to our goal and to another match.
Thanks, Dad. Thanks, family.
Radio shout out. Again, to get your pledges in, you have several options. Option number 1 is to text the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to our Holy Cross College text line at 260-436-9598. Second way is to head to redeemerradio.com, click on the Give Now button, and fill out the prompts to get your pledge in. And the final way is to pick up the phone and call. We have volunteers standing by waiting to answer your phone call. Again, that number is 260-436-9598. And again, we are talking with students, professors, and Father Bob from St. Anthony in Angola about their campus ministry. From a professor standpoint, how does the fact of having a Newman Center on campus affect you and your ability to teach and to reach students?
Yeah, the Newman group is wonderful, and we're lucky that our parish is just across the street, because we don't have a center per se. It's a bit decentralized, but it's kind of beautiful because I'm able to see these students as they go to class. I have some members of the Newman group in some of my classes. and so they know that they can come to me and that I will be understanding and patient with them in helping them figure stuff out. I sometimes get lunch with some of the students on campus. Just today, Krista and I got with a non-Catholic student and had lunch before coming here today. So it's really great to be able to see this kind of living faith community just existing in the world without having to pretend or hide from it, and being able to be proudly Catholic
Sure.
and also be parts of the Trine community at the same time. And these students do a great job at exemplifying that.
Well, that's what, as you were talking, what really struck me was just, you're just living life, right? You're just doing you through your Catholic lens while on the campus of a university, and how blessed are you to have this ministry to continue your formation, to continue to support you in that ministry. And it looks like we are currently at $2,020 and 11 pledges. So 4 more to get that $500 match, and we are creeping very close to that $3,000 goal. Again, you can text the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to our Holy Cross College text line, 260-436-9598. You can go on to RedeemerRadio.com and click the Give Now button. Also, I believe we are live streaming on Facebook, so if you want to check us out there, and I'm not sure everybody knew that in this room. Speaking of Facebook, Krista, you said that you use social media as a way to connect and to advertise some events.
Yeah, we have a Facebook page called the Trine Newman Catholic Fellowship. There we just post all of our updates when we're having game nights, meetings, the house when there's cool new renovations going on. So we just like to keep connected with our alumni and the community around us and give everyone updates on what's going on.
Fantastic. Father Bob, from a pastor perspective, how does the parish embrace the students? Do they realize when they're gone in the summer?
Oh yes,
and when they come back in the fall?
You definitely notice that. Definitely notice that. Again, we have 3 of the students from Trine who run our high school youth ministry.
Okay.
We have got a number of Trine students who are helping to teach our grade school catechism program. So I mean, it's like almost everything we do. So there are some of the Trine students in there. We average 1 or 2 Trine students every year in the RCIA.
Okay.
About half of them are because they want to become Catholic. About half of them because they never did anything with catechism or their faith beyond First Communion, and now they're in college and discovered that they want to, which is again a beautiful testimony for about everything else that's going on. I always tell the story, and for those of you listening on the radio, pay very close attention to my hand motions now because they're important to the story.
Or pull up the Facebook really quick.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
If you're not driving.
If you're driving, take out your phone and pull out the Facebook. No,
Please don't.
A number of years ago, there was a Trine student who came to the RCA, and we always ask, the first evening, what made you think about becoming Catholic? And one student said, well, I was eating lunch in the dining room, and I just, by chance, saw some student across on the other side of the room make some kind of funny hand motion in front of their face before they ate. And I thought, that's weird. But about a week later, I saw a completely different student in the dining room, like making circles in front of her face before she ate. And I thought, this is like a thing. And then it happened a third time. I saw a completely different person, do this hand motion, and they were making it turns out, of course, they were making the sign of the cross. But I went up and asked the person, "What is that?" Because I've seen other people do that. What is this thing? And he told me, it's a sign of the cross. I'm Catholic, and we do that before we eat. And that was what got him to start looking at the Catholic Church.
Wow.
So, you don't always know the effects of your actions, and a very, very simple thing like making the sign of the cross before you eat your hamburger at McDonald's or before you drink your coffee at Starbucks or whatever, can have an amazing effect.
What a beautiful story. And again, that little thing of the sign of the cross, how powerful it can be. And I think stories are so powerful. Do any of you have a faith story that you would like to share of how your Catholic faith has changed or has grown through the ministry at Trine University or through Catholic media?
I mentioned already the story of how my wife and I became Catholic through a friend, but I actually left out some detail. Namely, once we started asking questions, we started speaking with the RCA director at our school at the time, and she was very helpful, but our questions outpaced the time she had. And we actually turned to the internet and to ultimately the Catholic media, podcasts, radio, YouTube, these types of things, where people were sharing their stories, were telling how they became Catholic or rejoined the church after kind of being away for a while, where people talked about different issues of faith, where they talked about the struggles they have in their classes or in real life with their faith. And it was through that Catholic media that we were able to answer and start answering a lot of our questions, and of course learn new questions to ask people, like what the heck is the sign of the cross, if you've never heard of that before, right? And then you can go and ask your parish priest or your friend who may know more, and it's a great way to kind of impact people in their moment to moment, even when they aren't around a dozen other Catholics inside the parish or something. So I think it's
absolutely wonderful. That's fantastic. And we are nearing the end of our hour, so I want to remind you again how to get those pledges in. We have volunteers ready to answer your phone call at 260-436-9598. You can also go to redeemerradio.com, click on the Give Now button to enter your pledge. Text the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to our Holy Cross College text line. Again, that number is 260-436-9598. We're still sitting at $2,020 and 11 pledges, so 4 more pledges, and we will get another $500 match. We've got plenty of time left in the hour to do that, so get those thumbs moving on your phones, and text that word GIVE to 260-436-9598. What stories, Krista, do you have a formation story that you would like to share?
Well, I guess one that I can particularly think of in mind is I have a friend who has graduated from Trine University, and we used to meet every week, and he wasn't Catholic, and we'd just bring up random topics and pull up videos and discuss our different beliefs and what we think is the right interpretation, and then I'd bring that to Newman Catholic Fellowship and be like, okay, how should I respond, and what do you think the accurate response is according to Catholicism? And it really helped me grow my faith, and that guy and I became really like best friends. And
that's beautiful.
So yeah,
that's
my
beautiful.
story.
Yes, and having resources such as the resources that Redeemer Radio provides is it's a fantastic way to learn more about your faith in a very less intimidating situation where you're just on the receiving end. You don't necessarily have to think about a rebuttal but you're gaining that information. Did you have something to add to that, Father Bob?
No, I was going to ask Peter, what kind of stuff do you listen to? Or like what kind of Catholic media do you use?
I actually, so over the summertime, I had an hour-long commute every day, one way. So I would actually listen to Redeemer Radio quite a bit, and one of the reasons I came was because I'm a big fan of Redeemer Radio.
Fantastic.
So that is definitely one Catholic media source I use a lot. And
what's your favorite show on Redeemer Radio?
Think about this answer.
The one I'm on now.
This one that's happening right now, which
Fantastic.
is why you should donate right now.
That's
best show
right.
to
That's
donate.
right.
Seriously.
And we've got an additional pledge, so we're up to 12 pledges. We are at $2,320, getting closer to that $3,000 goal. And as a reminder, we have some very eager, happy volunteers to answer your phone calls. 260-436-9598 is the phone number. RedeemerRadio.com. Click on that Give Now button, or you can text the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to the Holy Cross College text line at 260-436-9598. And I just want to commend all of you. You all came after class, so there was no skipping of classes to come to the radio station, right?
Right.
Okay.
We would have had a couple of other either officers or group members, but they had other commitments this afternoon, so we would have been pretty smushed in this little room.
Yes, it's not large.
And I do want to remind listeners, that Redeemer Radio does have a good selection of podcasts.
Yes.
Maria's older brother informed me several years ago. He said, "Father Bob, nobody listens to the radio anymore. You have to do podcasts." But Redeemer Radio does do podcasts, so even he gets to listen.
Yes, that is correct. All right, we are in the final minutes of this hour, so I'm going to give that number one more time. You can call 260-436-9598. We still have, looks like 3 more pledges to get to that $500 match. Texting the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to the Holy Cross College text line, 260-436-9598, or going to RedeemerRadio.com and clicking on the Give Now button. Once again, our goal is $3,000, and we are almost there. Let's continue to talk about faith formation as we try to get some last pledges here in the last few minutes. What has been most impactful about your relationship with St. Anthony's or Father Bob and your faith formation as you go through your college career?
I think going into college, a lot of kids kind of they take their freedom in stride, and they kind of tear away from what their parents kind of, at the risk of sounding kind of bad here, but being pushed into their faith. And I think Newman and St. Anthony's have been really good in the way of keeping my faith strong. And there was a comment that I wanted to make in the last discussion before our last little break there, is when I'm talking with friends and they ask me questions on my faith, it is 1,000 times better to say, I need to do some more research, I'll get back to you, rather than just saying you don't know. Because that's going to be discouraging to them, and they're going to think that you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to your faith. And I think it's so important for people for them to know that you're strong, even if you aren't 100% educated, because let's be real, nobody knows every single thing, and it's a learning journey for your whole life. You don't just graduate high school and know what you're going to do for the rest of your life, even in an academic standpoint, let alone your faith.
Absolutely.
If I
Krista?
could add, Father Bob has an encyclopedia of Catholic knowledge, and so we enjoy doing our Father Bob Q&As, where all of us students just meet and we just ask him the most randomest questions. I mean, last time we had why does the about the Pope Mobile and everything, and the Swiss Guard, and why do they wear the funny clothes? And so Father Bob just provides an amazing opportunity to just talk about Catholicism.
All right. Well, if you have been privy to Father Bob and his knowledge, let's get that final pledge in. We need one more pledge to get a $500 match. So I'm challenging anybody who has received the benefit of Father Bob's knowledge to go ahead and make a pledge on his behalf. to support Redeemer Radio. Remember, that number is 260-436-9598. RedeemerRadio.com. Click on the Give Now button or text the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to Holy Cross College text line at 260-436-9598. Again, our goal for this hour is $3,000, and we are currently at $2,720. So I think we can get it. We got 2 minutes left to get it. Go ahead and click on that Give Now button on RedeemerRadio.com, or pull out that cell phone as long as you're not driving. If you're driving, hand it to your passenger. We are $280 away from our goal, and another pledge gets us that match of $500.
Father Bob, do you have a final kernel of knowledge for us to help those who are on the fence still?
Not so much knowledge, but just a thought. Faith is given to share, and we all need everyone else sharing theirs just so we can live ours. Faith is almost never something that anybody can do all alone. So however you share your faith, again, Saint Bonaventure, one of the great Franciscan theologians, one of his famous sayings was that your life is your sermon. You can use all sorts of words if you want, but the sermon people will hear is the sermon of your life. So make it a good one.
Absolutely. And I'm going to give that number one last time in case you didn't write it down correctly. It's 260-436-9598. And if you have ever visited St. Anthony on a lake weekend, now would be good time to call and make a pledge. I hear it's a very popular lake.
Anyone
church.
Flying in for the Lake James fly-in,
seaplanes, yes.
Make a call now.
Seaplane weekend, that's right. All right, RedeemerRadio.com has a Give Now button that you can click on. Text the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to the Holy Cross College text line at 260-436-9598. Again, we are just shy of our $3,000 goal. We are $280 away, so if you can, a pledge of $120 will get you a beautiful Made for Greatness t-shirt in a nice green color. I hear they're very soft, and so you can support Redeemer Radio that way. Okay, Peter, did you have any last thoughts on the benefit of Redeemer Radio or Catholic formation while in college?
Yeah, well, it's just a great resource to go to, and I really learn a lot from listening, whether it's just on the way home from school or to work or whatever. And, it's little snippets of info that I never thought I'd really learn about, and I'm like, wow, that's, something I can tell somebody. That's something that, is super cool about my Catholic faith that I never knew. So, and by donating, you're allowing us to continue providing that content for everybody.
Okay, and one last time here for the number 260-436-9598. You can call and speak to one of our amazing volunteers. You can go to RedeemerRadio.com to click on the Give Now button, or you can text the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to our Holy Cross College text line at 260-436-9598.
You're listening to Sharathon on Redeemer Radio, 106.3 FM, WRDF Columbia City, Fort Wayne, 95.7 FM, WRDI Napanee, Michiana, and streaming on the Redeemer Radio app. Stay tuned to your listener-supported